Which YouTuber has the best taste in cars?
We each picked 5 of our favorite YouTuber cars, and we're gonna compare them head to head to see who has the best build on YouTube.
To figure out which YouTuber truly has the best car, we're gonna be ranking them each on a scale from 1 to 5 on their fun, practicality, uniqueness, and taste.
Well, let's get into it. We'll start with my car first, and it comes from the BoostedBoiz, the Plaidessey.
Ooh.
So if you've not heard of the Plaidessey, it is a Honda Odyssey that is basically put on top of a Tesla chassis. They're clearly having so much fun with that. Like, you can have a lot of cars, but having a 1,000 horsepower minivan that can embarrass something on the street is absolutely wonderful. So let's give it a score. Not a Doug score. This is our own. We didn't steal that. This is our own measurement. Fun. I think for me, Plaidessey, 5 out of 5 in terms of fun.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with a 3.
A 3?
Yes. I think it would be very fun in a straight line on a highway, but pretty much everywhere else, it would not be very entertaining to drive.
Something about being in a minivan that I know is that fast I would be laughing the entire time. And I think every time I drove that car, I would feel the same way.
My score is a 4. I take it back.
And I also give it a 5 for practicality.
Oh my God. I think it's a 4, again, just because it is a ramshackle together sheet metal minivan, so it's not quite all the way there.
Uniqueness, 5 for me as well. This is starting out pretty well.
Yep.
I think taste, probably a 2 or a 3.
I'll give it a 2.
I will give it a 2 as well, despite its overwhelming funness.
In a change of pace, I'm going with a car from our friends down under. It would be the Mighty Car Mods Subaru Brumby, or as we call them here in the States, the Brat. The Subaru Brat was a really unappreciated car here in the US, but everyone in Australia loved them. It's basically a mini El Camino. It's a 4-wheel drive Subaru mini El Camino, and you could get seats that faced backwards in the bed. I love that they made it period correct though. They added the vinyl graphics on the side that looks exactly like what you would have seen in a dealership. It's kind of an oddball one. I think Mighty Car Mods have done some more high performance, more flashy cars, but that's kind of the most interesting one that they've made.
Let's start off in fun. I don't think this would be nearly as fun as a 1,000 horsepower minivan.
Yes, correct. I think I would give it a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 3 in terms of fun. Practical?
5.
I'm gonna give it a 3. Uniqueness?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. Taste? That's gonna be a 5 out of 5 for me.
I give it a 5.
I think that's really well executed, and I think they went above and beyond to do a lot of nice little touches that really set it apart. Up next, we have a car that has been sort of an inspiration for me in a lot of ways. This car is pretty lightly modded. It has BBS FIR wheels, which are my favorite wheel of all time. It's got a big brake kit. It's got retrofit headlights and an exhaust, and then it's a little bit of carbon aero, and
I think you've skimped over it has an exhaust. I think this is probably one of the loudest cars.
Yeah, this is probably the loudest car on Earth. In terms of fun, I just had an E92 M3. I did not have an exhaust that was nearly as loud as that man's car, but my car was very, very, very fun. I would probably give my car a 2. I'll give him 1 more point on top of that, so I'll give him a 3.
I was gonna say 3 as well. It's slightly outclassed by modern cars, I think.
Yes.
I think when you compare it directly to a new M car, even like the F80.
Yep.
It's not as fast, it's not as loud stock, it's not as hardcore, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool. I think I'm gonna give it a 2 in practicality. I do not think this car is very practical, but there's a lot of convenience in this car. It is a BMW, and those older BMWs still hold up so well. Uniqueness? Maybe a 2 also. I don't think it's a super unique build.
I think I gotta give it a 2 as well.
Okay. Taste? I'm gonna give it a 5.
I'll give it a 4. It's very nice. I'm not a big BMW guy, but I think it was nicely done. All right, up next, we have Jackie Ding's Race Time Attack Supra. It's not the prettiest thing. It's definitely not built for style, but I think it's cool that he built a car for YouTube that's more of just a pure track car.
Yeah.
Nobody tends to, people who race cars on YouTube, they tend to spend 90% of the time like building their cars. Like most of their videos are, oh, here's the mods I'm doing, and then we take it to the track. And I just think it's really cool that he's used his own car as kind of like an R&D platform. Because a lot of this stuff is, he reaches out to companies and says, hey, can you build a splitter for the Supra?
All right, fun.
On a racetrack, this would be one of the most exhilarating things to drive, but you can't drive it anywhere else. If you were pushing it to the limit on the street, you'd be getting a felony or something. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that I'd give it a 4 for that.
I think I'd probably give it a 3. I've driven a Supra and they're super fun cars, but I don't think they are super special and stand out-ish in a fun way to me.
Practicality? 1.
Yeah. I'll give it maybe a 3 or a 4 in uniqueness, just because,
I think
again,
a 3.
Purpose-built. I'll give it a 3 as well.
It's kind of not unique because it's so built for one specific goal, but that goal is cool enough that it brings it onto the list, if that makes sense. Taste.
I think this is a really tasteful sort of car. I would give it probably a 4.
Yeah, I agree. I think a 4 because I'm not a huge, the swan neck is kind of silly, but like.
But it serves a purpose.
It serves a purpose. The splitter is radical. I think it's a nice looking race car.
This is not really a YouTuber car. Danny Courtney was at one point a YouTuber, but he's associated with Mr. TJ Hunt, so I basically consider it TJ Hunt's car. But I just think this car is so special and so fun. And it is his LS swapped Miata. I don't think there would be anything more insane than an LS swapped Miata. You take a 2,000-pound car and put a naturally aspirated V8 in there that makes, what, 500 horsepower, roof off, loud exhaust.
Terrifying. That car is so old. It's like 1990.
Yeah, and there's the roll bar is maybe an inch higher than both of their heads. So if you flip that car, you better make sure you're ducking.
Yeah,
so
that windshield is. Windshield's folding too.
So scary, so dangerous, so wild. So in terms of fun, I'm gonna give this a 5.
Oh, it'd
Top
be
down,
so fun.
ripping a LS Miata, it would just be unbelievable. Practical, again, 1. It's dangerous. I think the danger detracts from the practicalness the most. I think the fact that that roll bar is so limited is
I'll give it a 2.
A 2, why?
It is a car at the end of the day. No, I deduct a point for having a harness.
Uniqueness, it's pretty unique. I don't think it's super special, maybe a 3.
I'll give it a 2.
From me. Taste, I think the quality of parts they chose to do in this, I mean, the car's kind of a shitbox. Like,
it's a Miata.
It's a Miata at the end of the day. It's got nice wheels. It's got a nice new wrap. Again, they did swap a really nice engine into it. They put a lot of money into the transmission. So I think all of the choices they made were really intentional and really good, and they didn't cut any corners with it. So maybe a 4 for me on taste. I think it's really well done.
I think a 3.
Okay.
It's hard, I think, to make a Miata really tasteful. Yeah. Because they're kind of just this fun little cute car that it's like, haha, Miata. My next car is not really a car. It's more of a collection of bits that's been put together. It is SuperfastMatt's land speed record car. And I think it is awesome. I think it's such a unique thing. It's so out of left field. Land speed racing is such a niche hobby.
Yes.
There's like 3 people that are interested in it. And he clearly thought it was cool, went out of his way, bought a bike engine, did all of the effort, built this whole thing. He went to Bonneville a bunch of times to get some data, and he just kind of went for it. I think it's awesome because he's so smart and he's such an engineer that he knows exactly when to cut corners. Okay, I designed this in CAD. I have a factor of safety of like 4 times more force than this is ever gonna need. Yeah, let's just send it and see what happens.
Fun, I think this car would just be unbelievably fun.
I think it would be awesome.
It would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 5.
I think a 5 just because it's home built. He welded it.
Yeah.
So if he's driving, he's like, well, I hope I did this right.
Practical?
0.
1. We can't give it a 0.
Oh, we have to give it a 1?
We have to give it a
1. It's so impractical. It's so long.
Yeah.
It's so low. Yeah, 1 for sure.
Not getting groceries in the sky.
It's not a car. It's kind of a
uniqueness? 5.
5, yeah.
No one else has done this. He's the only one on YouTube I've ever seen do anything like this. I feel like taste isn't really even a relevant category here because it's not like a pleasurable car to look at. Like, it's fun. So for taste, almost like an NA. I'm gonna give it a 1. It's not a very cool.
Yeah, I think it's.
He's making the right decisions, but it's not like there is no taste.
There's no taste because everything has been mathematically calculated.
Yeah, it's built to be.
But I think that's interesting in a way. I'll give it a 3 because he made a mockery of forged carbon fiber.
Okay.
So that's a 3 for me.
I support that. I think he has good taste, but I think this car
kind of hard to show.
Yeah, it's hard to show taste in this car, so I'm gonna give it a 1 just because that's what we're rating.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. We have gone through our favorite YouTuber cars individually. We've given them our Doug score, trademark. And now it's time to see who comes out supreme. Because we have not been doing the math while we've been doing this.
It's gonna be a surprise.
It will be a surprise victory. I will do the math and editing, and I'll put the winner right up here. Collect your trophy.
It's the definitive best YouTuber car ever.
Ever.
If you have a favorite YouTuber car, leave it down in the comments below. If you'd like to see more things like this, please subscribe. We'll be uploading more videos. And thank you for watching.
We'll see you in the next one.